So there's a couple more things that I want to cover about smart contracts, and then I'll write one of my own. So for this, I'm going to use a programming language called Solidity. And Solidity was invented specifically for authoring smart contracts, and so it has many features in the language to make the execution of the contracts much easier. And so I'm going to share with you guys a new diagram that'll focus a bit more on Solidity. And close this. Try this again. What is it? Let's try this again. Trying to see what exactly it is that this thing is focusing on. Try it again. And share. Preview screen. I'm not sure what it is. Okay. I'm just resizing it so you guys can see it better. All right. So Solidity was invented specifically for authoring smart contracts, and so it has many features in the language to make the execution of the contracts much easier. Solidity is written into .sol files, and they are compatible with any standard code editor. And I'm going to be using Atom later on, but any code editor will do. Solidity is strongly typed, which is different than JavaScript, which is dynamically typed. If you've never worked with a strongly typed language before, that's fine. I'll give you a very strong refresher or intro into how strongly typed programming languages work. Solidity is similar to JavaScript. Well, that's what some people say. I personally disagree. Some of the syntax is similar, but some of it is quite different. And the last thing about Solidity, the contracts I'm going to write and the contracts written for production applications usually end up being quite small. It's not necessary to be a complete expert in Solidity because I'm not just going to write Solidity code. There is a bit of Solidity for the smart contract, and then there is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript that I'm going to write to interact with the contract. That's really what's going to take the most amount of time. So how is Solidity used? When you and I write a contract, we're going to write what is called a contract definition. And I want to pull up another diagram to show you how that works. Let's see. And that should be this one here. Just resize it again. All right, so contract definition. And contract definitions are written in Solidity as seen in this diagram. And Solidity is an actual programming language that is easy to read, it's easy to interact with, and easy to understand, but it's not the actual code that's actually executed on the Ethereum network inside these smart contracts. Instead, we're going to take the contract definition and feed it into a Solidity compiler, which will split out two separate files. The first one will contain some bytecode, and this is the actual bytecode that will be deployed to the Ethereum network. And this is what will be put in our contract account. The Solidity compiler will also spit out something called the Application Binary Interface, or ABI. And this ABI is key for writing applications that can interact with these deployed smart contracts. So let me give you an example with another diagram. Let's see, where is the other diagram? It's this one. All right. Where are you? I believe is this one here. Yeah. All right. Enlarge it. Okay. So after I deploy a smart contract and get an ABI out of it, I'm going to write some JavaScript code that's going to serve as the UI or front end to my contract. But my JavaScript code has no ability to interact with the bytecode that has been deployed on the Ethereum blockchain. So the Ethereum blockchain with smart contracts contains bytecode that was previously written in Solidity. So the ABI is an interface of sorts for getting our JavaScript to understand what's going on with this really strange and crazy looking bytecode. Because JavaScript thinks that all this is gibberish, and so we need an ABI to do the translating. An ABI is something that is easily legible. It'll give us a good idea of how to interact with our contract. So the ABI will be read several times to get a good idea of what functions or different pieces of data we can call and interact with in our smart contracts. Okay, so that's my intro on Solidity. And in a subsequent video, I will begin working on my first smart contract. See you there.